We're going to start off in Bournemouth, actually. For our sins, Lawrence Okolie going in against Chris Billam-Smith for the WBO World Cruiserweight title. Managed to catch up with this afternoon, and they look like a hell of an atmosphere, to be honest with you. Old Okolie, 10 seconds into the fight, I counted. He'd already grabbed hold of Billam-Smith. He was pushing him back to the ropes, wrapping those Henry Akinwande octopus-style tentacles around him. I'm wondering, Andy, whether there's some kind of Freudian issues here with Okolie. Did he not get hugged enough as a child or something?
I don't know, mate. I think we kind of mentioned it last week as well. I know Billam-Smith's been a wee bit kind of prone to, a wee bit inside working, a bit of holding and that, but it was just a bit too much here last night. I was channel hopping a wee bit and that, so I've probably missed out, wee bits here and there, that to be fair, but I seen Okolie saying, they're going to run it back. Please don't, man. Please don't run that shit back. Fair play to Billam-Smith. He stepped it up, dropped them numerous times. We'll mention the scorecards in a wee bit, I suppose, not as well, especially that 112-112. Just disgraceful, to be fair, actually. But yeah, look, Okolie he's done pretty well for himself. And at the end of the day, Eddie's no stupid. He'll give you a chance, I suppose. If you're not going to sell tickets, then it's going to be hard for him. I think he's going to have to make decisions with Campbell Hatton as well at some point, possibly. But I just hope we never see Okolie fight again. It's Klitschko and Ward could be boring to watch, but they were nothing compared to this, man. Jab and grab, peak. It was as you say, mate. How many times did you count in the first 3 rounds? Did you say?
No, I said I bet the first 10 seconds of the fight, the bell went, and I think with about 8 or 9 seconds, Okolie had already grabbed hold of Billam-Smith and pushed him into the ropes. And it was just, I already knew the result, obviously, because I was watching it this morning. But I mean, if ever there was like a sort of, putting the fight into context, that was it.
Aye, it's basically it, mate. It was a poor fight. Poor spectacle, but I didn't think
confidence. Is it a confidence thing, do you think? I mean, no fighter likes getting hit. Well, I'm sure some do, but nobody wants to be hit bang on the chin. Is it, hit and grab? Is it a confidence issue?
I don't know. Someone said they don't get like ironed out in sparring or whatever. And that. I mean, it doesn't look like he holds much, weight in some of the shots that he takes. I know Dave Lee was mentioning he seems to have the frame possibly go up to heavyweight, but it's not. I just
can't take a punch at cruiserweight. It's not going to go at heavyweight.
I just don't see it, mate. To be fair, there was like a wee renaissance with him, wasn't there? There was like a couple of fights where he was looking okay. It looks like he maybe turned the corner, but it's just went back to how it was. And we all remember how it was when he was coming up through the ranks, like to this point. Last night was just equally bad. Obviously, he's trying to survive. He's getting dropped. He's hurt. I think he maybe, he landed a few heavy shots himself at the end of the day, but. End of the day, he's accepted the fact that he lost the fight. That's the main thing. It's just a shame that he's got a rematch clause. We've got to go through this shit again, unfortunately, But if they're going to have it again, I suppose, then can we have it? Can we have maybe 4 or 5 UK cards so we can actually just refuse to watch it? We can actually easily skip past it, because last night was a disgrace trying to kind of hop back and forward, trying to kind of watch events and stuff. So. Yeah, I was glad the Sky card. I wasn't really too over enamoured with it, to be fair, and I was only kind of really keeping an eye on the main event, really, in all honesty, and even that wasn't great reporting. But Billam-Smith, I know he's getting a wee bit of kind of shit this morning, saying he's the worst reigning champion at this point. That guy's been
he barely reigns. Let me give the fella 24 hours.
I know. So let him enjoy it at least, So fair play to him. He's got a title of some sort. Hopefully. Kind of validate it a little bit. He's got to win the rematch at least, and then he can take it from there, really. But fair play. I mean, he's got the job done. But I'll leave it to maybe Aussie, because I know Aussie was raging at the 112 scorecards. But just to mention as well, was it 115 110, or was it 115 108?
116 107, 112 112, and then 115 108.
Aye, so basically is practically either apart from one round. It was the knockdowns and the point deductions that basically got him that fight, Billam-Smith, really on that card as well. So it was just an absolute outrage. I thought, for what I was seeing at least, I thought Billam-Smith was winning the fight. And I think our man, did he call him again? That Adam Catrell, I think he had it 112 as well on TalkSport last night. And I think possibly the GAD may have agreed with him. So that's bad.
It is pretty bad. No doubt Ozzy will have plenty to say. Just before we go to him, first of all, Matty, Okolie's fights are so bad, they have to put another 2 cards on to make up for it, to try and divert our attention away from it. What about the man in Okolie's corner, Sugar Hill? Obviously, Okolie's, he was an unbeaten, decent-looking specimen, got a world title. He's winning. It might not be pretty, but he was winning fights. Sugar Hill, you can see where the attraction is. Also, Okolie going over to someone with the Kronk gym reputation there. It's not really a match for me. I don't really think anybody is going to be able to pull the best out of Okolie. Saying that, Shane McGuigan was doing a pretty good job from what I saw. I can see them splitting now, maybe blaming this, that, and the other. I just don't think that's working in the corner, Matty.
Was McGuigan doing a better job, or the referees just not penalizing Okolie as they should have?
Quite possibly.
That would be my argument. I think kind of Okolie is what he is. Was this any different than you've really seen him normally? I thought that, Billam-Smith did a good job keeping a high guard at times. He did get caught. I thought the fight was one fight closer than the judge who had the closest card for Billam-Smith. I think I had it like 114, 110, something like that. It was a really sloppy fight where you kind of had to pick out shots and things like that, but it was just really disgusting to watch Okolie fight the way he did. It wasn't just the holding, it was the shoving and the headbutts, and just the awful aesthetics of the way he fights. I mean, there was a moment I saw as I rewatched this fight this afternoon, where he landed a good shot and he was just out of range where Billam-Smith could have caught him. And instead of just backing up straight into the middle of the ring where he had all the room in the world, he just chose to go in there and hold him instead. Fuck, why would I just, have all the room in the world to go back and or to the side, wherever? No, I'll just go forward and we'll shove him into the ropes. It was just awful. I thought that, that the last knockdown call was pretty dubious, but at the end of the day, it kind of reminded me of Alexander Povetkin against Vladimir Klitschko, when Povetkin kept holding and bending and then falling to his knees. And eventually the referee just called it a knockdown. He said, fuck it. You want to keep doing it? It's a knockdown. So it was a really tough fight to referee. Credit to Marcus McDonald, I believe it was in there. I think he wanted to have far less of a part in the fight, but he wasn't given a choice. I think he could have absolutely disqualified Okolie. He didn't. I think he could have penalized him many times for keeping his left hand straight out, and he didn't. But awful fight. I would never want to watch it again. Okolie says he's going up to heavyweight. Godspeed, sir. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to tune in for any of that. I think I've had my fill of Lawrence O'Holdy at this point in time. And Billam-Smith against Reactpour, let's see that rematch. Might as well make it happen. See how they've done since they've both developed as fighters.
Matty, you might not be too enamoured with the fight, but one person who's been dragged out of hibernation at 8:10, no less, is Jason Chukwu. Long time no speak, Mr. Chukwu. How are you? Can you hear me, Jason?
He's having a mirror there, isn't he?
Turns up early and can't even get his mic off.
Jason, we could see you, but we can't hear you.
He's probably hiding in the toilets just now if he's gaffer. He's probably on a shift, patching it.
Can you hear me?
There he,
Here he is. Come on, Jason. Defend your man, Okolie. What's happening?
It's a real pandemic. I mean, obviously, I'm out of the loop with boxing. I'm probably keeping up more with porn than boxing. But yeah, my life's a mess, isn't it? But
Who's doing better in life, you or Lawrence Okolie at the moment? Come on, Jason.
And porn, you'll see more punches thrown than that fight last night.
It's still Okolie.
Too much hugging in the films.
But I just got how's a guy unbeaten and he's already been with 4 different trainers? I don't understand that. I don't get that about
It's interesting because that's what I was just saying there to you as well, because there was a wee period that he looked
he was
improving.
I remember the first guy
from the Galaki fight, wasn't it?
He was with O'Shaughnessy, then he switched that American black guy, Chris Robinson, then he went to McGuigan. And I thought with McGuigan, that's when he stopped holding and he learned to sit down his punches. For every reason, he fucked him off. And then he's now got, but obviously I can't listen. You know me, I back my peoples. I still say free R. Kelly. I still say leave Tim Westwood alone. I still say Adonis Stevenson would have beat Kovalev. And
I'm drawing the
just
line at
because
Philip
Okolie
Schofield.
lost-
Now, come on, Chukwu.
Nah, Schofield. I didn't like what Schofield did to Jeremy Corbyn. Fuck Schofield. I'm glad he's been. What he put his wife through. Like, if you're gay, come on and say you're gay. Like,
Right,
why are you
back to
making your wife
back to Sugar Hill. No, it was my fault. For
Hold on,
dragging us there.
a second. Hold on.
Oh,
You've
no.
defended Adonis Stevenson, R. Kelly, and you've talked about watching porn. Are you defending your black brothers, or are you defending sex fiends? That's what I need to know.
No. I'm going off topic because I got a lot to say in it. Like I said, it's 8:10. I'm this early because of this. If Okolie, I didn't even watch it. I was on shift, but I was trying to go to the toilet and see like if I can get some, like watch some footage. But it's just, I always said this would be a hard fight because Billam-Smith's a very, very good fighter. But I thought Okolie would do him, majority decision. But it just shows you how Eddie Hearn, how great. I know we all hate Hearn, but you know what Hearn would have done? He would have put a couple more grand in the paper bag and say, "You're winning tonight, no matter what." Ben Shalom doesn't have money like that. He doesn't have the clout like that, and that's why Okolie lost.
He needs to up his corruption game.
Yeah, of course. Eddie put the corruption game on lock. He got on lock. Like, and I think a lot of this is Eddie is what
Allegedly.
like. Eddie, it just shows you how great Eddie is in some sort, because like the way he's built up Buatsi and Okolie. I mean, like I said, I picked Okolie to knock out Gassiev a couple of years ago, and I said that, and I still stand on. I mean, wow. I don't know what to say, innit? Like,
I think he
Okolie
can
lost.
punch. I think he can punch if he lets the shots go.
He could
No,
probably
the
beat
prob-
Gassiev.
the prob- the
Actually,
problem
he needed
is-
to fight him, didn't
He beat Glowacki. Cool, but what the defenses after that have been poor. They have not been like the problem with Hearn is that he doesn't know how to build a fighter. Like he doesn't know. That's the problem with Hearn. He can get you a world title. He could get me a world title shot next year if he really tried to. But like when it comes to building a fighter, like Hearn, I don't know. Like, he's not the best at that. I don't. But Hearn's not like Okolie left Hearn because he thought he was Jesus. He thought because AJ then part of the same management group. Like he's just as much of a household name as AJ, but there's only one Femi, so.
What's Okolie going to do now?
I mean, that's the thing because Sugar Hill's a very good trainer. Sugar Hill trained my guy Adonis. He's trained someone. He's a Emmanuel Stewart disciple, and because of this, it's now making Sugar Hill look shit, which he's not. This is how fucked up things are. Sugar Hill is not a shit trainer. It's just this is more to do with Okolie. I'm one of these guys. If you lose, it's on you. It's not on the trainer. And the thing is, he went to America as well. Imagine the money spent to go to America. Like, that's a lot of money. It's not easy.
Jason, did you see Sugar Hill in the 10th round? He's going to walk out the ring. I thought at one point the way he just walked away from Okolie, walking back to the corner. He just walked right across the ring. Obviously, go speak to the referee and that, but it looked quite funny.
That's the thing. I'm paying for Sky Go, but I don't even have Sky Go on my app because just so much porn on my phone. It's a mess. It's a mess. I have to watch it on the stream, even though I've got Sky Go. It's mad.
You need to drop that hard drive and get back into the boxing. I'm worried about you.
I know, man.
What about Buatsi? Where's he going?
See, the thing is about Buatsi, I don't think he's improved since the Olympics, isn't it? So I'm not as much of a fan of him as Okolie, but there was a time I ranked him higher than Yard, but at least Yard has tried. So I don't know about Buatsi. It just shows you.
Turbiev is a hell of a lot better than Chris Billam-Smith too. For the love of God, Yard really fucking chased something high.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, I think Okolie's got something. He's got power. What does Buatsi have? Other like what's Buatsi's main strength?
I don't know. He's fairly durable, I suppose.
Decent jab, I suppose.
Because he's still stiff, like from the Olympics. I don't know what it is. Like he's still stiff.
Right, which train are you getting onto now, then, Jason? Before we move on, who you going to get on board with now that Okolie's been dumped?
I'm still with Okolie. Like I don't switch sides. I back my people to the end. I still say free R. Kelly. I still say leave Tim West alone. O'Donnell is still one of our favorites. Spinks needs to be in the. Why is Corey Spinks not in the Hall of Fame? Like when is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Again. How is Gatty in the Hall of Fame? Like this, I'm not one of these woke guys, but come on, it's just like there's a black guy have to do this much just to get in the Hall of Fame. Like, come, Spinks should be in the Hall of Fame.
I think Gaddy was the first time they admitted that they're going to consider entertainment level for a wider audience to be a qualifying factor.
Barry Wiggins in the Hall of Fame as well, by the way.
Why is Diego Corrales not in the Hall of Fame? Why is Vernon Forrest not in the Hall of Fame? This is what I'm saying.
I love Vernon, I love Vernon, but I mean, other than Mosley, his resume is pretty light. That Winky win.
But Matt, but what I'm saying, Matt, my point is they're all better than Guy. That's now the barometer now.
Sorry.
They'll bet like that's how low it's gone now. But
Jason,
Corey, that's just me anyway. I'm watching anyway.
Jason,
yeah,
there's so many black fighters in the Hall of Fame, dude. You know what I mean? The ones
that
there are there, like pretty much.
Rob, you're right.
It's almost the Hall of Black guys.
Rob,
yeah, exactly.
Rob, you're right. I am chatting shit, but I'm a Corey Spinks fan so much. It's like, what's going on? Like I've lost my mind in it. But
listen,
you know
Jason,
how much.
Summer's out, man. Durag Dynasty or no?
Huh?
Summer's in Durag Dynasty or no?
Durag Dynasty. Why could I go Durag on?
I seen the Durag earlier. Yeah, that's all.
Right, Jason, final comment before we ice you.
Jesus Christ. This is a good
I thought he'd get the Durag Dynasty reference. Chukwu has a lot of fucking similar music taste to me. I thought he was going to get that one.
No, it's too early for him. He's punching above his weight already. Right, Jason, final closing comments. Come on, leave us with some wisdom on this Sunday evening.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, it's life. Who died last week? You know, I can't remember. Tina Turner, isn't it? That was a couple of days ago.
Some lucky bastard who didn't have to watch Okolie against Billam-Smith.
No, I'll leave that one for the chat because I don't want to waste your time. But as for the final comment, I'm out the loop. But it's just like, yeah, Okolie just should have stayed with Shane O'Mac. I mean, imagine Shane O'Mac is what beat him. That's crazy as well. Like one of his own fighters beat him. It's mad.
McGregor was sounding off, wasn't he, last night over it? Like he said, all the fighters that leave him achieve fuck all. Like,
yeah, I know it's mad. Frampton as well, isn't it? It's just Well, Corey Spinks should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You're
gonna get in the Hall of Fame. You're gonna get in our Hall of Fame anyway, Jason.
No, I've just chatted so much shit though, man.
Say I fell asleep.
The porn man has your brain mangles. You don't know where you are. Wake up there.
The verbal diarrhea.
Right, Jason, off you go. See you later. Good to hear from you as always. We'll hear from you again in 200 episodes.
All right, then, yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you. Bye-bye. Jason Chukwu. It's not really a conversation, Ozzy. It's more of an experience.
That's a nice way to describe it.
Right, bring us back to reality. Okolie against Chris Billam-Smith. It looked like the
I really want to know
what's
on the phone now. Do you know that way? He's down in the loop of boxing. I kind of want the inside scoop here.
Go ahead, Oz.
I mean, I think there's a few things around it. I think we've always mentioned about, for all of Okolie's holding, why does he do it? And is he packing glass? And I think last night was quite evident, actually. For all the credit you've got to give to Billam-Smith, I thought Okolie was poor. I did think he started quite well, and he landed a big shot on Billam-Smith. I think it was in the second, which buckled the legs of Billam-Smith, and he took it, but I think it hurt him. But then Billam-Smith responded, pretty much, perfectly, and dropped Okolie in the fourth, and that was a big knockdown. And I think that really changed the way the fight went. And from then, I think just Billam-Smith looked the bigger puncher in there. He looked the better fighter as well. And if you were to watch that on, if you'd never heard of both guys, and you were to say, right, who is the world champion? I thought Billam-Smith looked the better fighter in there. If you were just looking at them as the neutral and you didn't know anything about them. And it was, a really good performance. And you can't not be happy for him, for a guy who, has done it the hard way, turned over on small hall shows, particularly down south, really south of the country where, boxing is not booming there. It's a difficult area. He's had no backing, no real amateur background as such. Fair play. He wanted to turn over and I think win a Commonwealth title or a British at best. And he's now a world champion. And to say, he's one of the worst ranked, champions at the moment, so be it. But many good fighters have never won a world title. And Chris Billam-Smith is right up there and has won a world title. And he won it off a legit champion as well, by the way. For all of Okolie's negatives, about the way he holds and his poor performances, the guy was a legit, cruiserweight champion and arguably by many ranked the best in the division as well. I think, I was one of them up there. I thought Okolie was the best cruiserweight, and cruiserweight certainly wasn't what it was of a few years ago. But Okolie's got to look at himself and think, like what's he going to do? I think if he goes up to heavyweight, I just don't think he's got the chin to withstand the power, the punches. I think someone like Joe Parker would knock Okolie out. And I don't think, ultimately it's all right holding people, but when these guys, could potentially be, 230, 240 in the ring, it's going to be a lot harder than, somebody who, weighed in under 200 pounds and you're naturally the bigger guy. Overall, a great performance for Billam-Smith. I thought McGuigan was very good in the corner. He was quite buoyant throughout the week, and in the build up to the fight, saying that they believe there's ways that they can get to Lawrence, and they did exactly that. And I think Okolie's got a lot going on outside the ring. He had big legal battles with Matchroom, and since then, since he left, and Eddie must be sat there, like with a smug grin on his face, because since Okolie left, he had that stinker of a performance against David Light, and now he's lost his world title against Chris Billam-Smith. They mentioned Buatsi again. He's hardly, making the big song and dance at the moment as well. He's struggling. Can Okolie come back? Yes, of course he can. While I think he might initially struggle at heavyweight, I think he can be matched from where he can get, a couple of good wins, because he still can punch. There's nothing taking him away. His power is still there, and I think, at heavyweight he'll be able to dig as well. But at the same time, I do think, when he comes up against the better guys, he really is going to struggle. So a lot to take away. I thought the cards were just... It was always going to be all over, for the points off, the knockdowns, etc. But Benjamin Rodriguez, how can you have that as 112, 112? I just don't understand it. What were you watching to say that? I thought, aside from the first couple of rounds, I thought Billam-Smith, was just the better fighter, landing the more meaningful shots. Obviously there was 2-point deductions, 3 knockdowns. And then to score the fight a fucking draw, it just makes no sense. And again, we go on and on about this. Can you imagine last night if that had been the other way around, it had somehow gone to Okolie? And the concerning thing is you've got these experts, and I say that within, inverted commas, and, Adam Catterall and the Gad, who also had it a draw. What the fuck were they watching? What were they honestly watching to determine that? And, I know a lot of people who were there last night, and again, people who I follow, and none of them scored it to Okolie. Cards were a bit all over, but you didn't see anything in favour, even close to Okolie. Yet you get these morons there who, one is paid to be, well, they're all paid to be there, one as a judge, one as a pundit, one as a commentator. And they're seeing that fight last night as a draw, and I think, it takes the shine off it. It really does. And, you're just glad that the right man won. But again, we have seen some bad cards in the UK, like really bad cards. And that 112, 112, I think, has shot straight to the top. It was a shocker. And he should be made to explain it. The WBO should call him and ask, what the hell did you see to determine this as a draw? What did you see? And, if they're not going to act on that, these guys are just going to keep judging, keep putting in poor scores. And, we've said it a few times, fighters' careers are affected by this. Fortunately for Billam-Smith, it wasn't. But on another day, it could have easily gone against him. Will the rematch happen? I hope not. It wasn't a great fight. It wasn't a great watch. It was very scrappy. I think Billam-Smith, he's a big ticket seller down there. They can definitely do things with him. As for Okolie, it's back to the drawing board. I think he's got to sort out this training situation. They made a good point. He's had 4 trainers, and he's had 20 fights or something like that. It's not, he had 20 fights. Not good enough, really. He had his trainer in Shane McGuigan, and it was working. And he decided he wanted to move to Dubai, and it just not worked out. So, yeah. He needs to get it sorted and fast, otherwise it could be curtains.
Absolutely well said, Ozzy. Morons being paid to be there. We'll talk about me at the Conlon fight later, Rob. Just before we do so, Chris Billam-Smith, about Billiams, the new CBS, going in against Okolie. It was a bit of a slugfest. You can't beat a good crowd, can you? We were talking about Conlon last night for all of his faults, obviously getting knocked out there. The crowd was fantastic. And Billam-Smith, man, it did look like an amazing atmosphere in there.
Yeah, it seemed like the kind of stars were aligned for Billam-Smith to have his moment when you hear his post-fight interview, and everybody's covered it. He does seem like a gentleman and a nice kid for something good to happen to, but that's not always the way it plays out. The nice guy doesn't always win, but I think he was a clear deserved winner last night. Ozzy's right, like the room 112 where the players dwell, 112 card. What the fuck was that? Like the guy that gets fucking 3 knockdowns scored against him and 2 points taken off is in a fucking draw fight when he didn't fucking win the rest of the rounds either. Like, so I don't know. Like Okolie's style, like horrible. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about it. Like horrible on the eye, not effective, just painful. And I think I wouldn't have complained last night if he had been DQ'd. I know probably would have took the shine off Billam-Smith's win. But he deserved to be disqualified. Like, he fucking wasn't making any attempt to make the fight a contest until the 9th or 10th round. Sugar Hill must have been fucking disgusted with him. Like the Kronk fighters and Sugar Hill's fighters known for good fundamentals, good straight punches, and getting the job done, going for the knockout, not fucking holding from the second round. I think he felt the strength and power of Billam-Smith from around the second round, and he seemed like he was struggling with it. But yeah, the training situation needs to be sorted out because he's doing so much shit wrong. It must be that he's listening to none of the trainers, because he came out of a clinch in the first knockdown, turned his back, kind of got caught with a left hook when he was turning away, almost like a novice fighter. The other two knockdowns come from him being off balance and getting a punch on the way down. One of them, he was trying to go for a clinch like a rugby tackle. So the clinching was horrible. He looked like he was fighting scared. He looked like the occasion was after getting to him. Billam-Smith was making a lot of those things happen, by the way, because he was relentless. I think he only really got caught himself when he was doing a bit of a Josh Kelly where he hit fucking Okolie with like 7 jabs in a row. And Okolie countered. He kind of walked onto one. But other than that, Okolie did very little in the fight, and you got to say Eddie Hearn's been... he must have been rubbing his hands looking at that last night, because he's been vindicated. Because Okolie's gripe with Eddie Hearn was that he wasn't getting paid enough money. Well, after that, who'd fucking pay anything for him? What's he worth after that performance? Who would pay and go and watch that again? Like, pay
not worth the carrots.
Not worth the carrot. Ben Shalom, man, he had a full head of hair about 6 weeks ago. He's going to be like Kojak by the time he's finished with these guys. Like, holy shit. Honestly, they're talking about he moves up to heavyweight now. Well, I have to do fucking something with him. What are they going to do with him? Like, he's not going to win a rematch against Billam-Smith. Well, I don't want to say that. He makes some adjustments. I suppose he could make it a closer fight, and he can definitely fight better than that, I think. But if you're a guy that's being vocal about ticket sales and analytics and knowing the insides of the accounts and this, that, and the third, you have to be able to deliver, and you have to be able to prove your worth. It's a competitive market. Boxers and networks are looking for scores, and there's plenty of fight formats, channels, platforms, all kinds of a kind of diluted landscape. And if you're not making noise, you're nowhere. Like, and honestly, like, a move to box, I don't know. It doesn't look good. Like, well, Billam-Smith deserved his win. Just a pity that they kind of even had to talk about the 112 card, but thankfully it didn't affect the outcome. He gets his win now. If the rematch clause is not activated, I'm not really that bothered with the cruiserweight division, to be honest with you. It doesn't kind of like float me boat or whatever, but good for him that he got his world title.
Yeah, Okolie can come again. Hopefully not in a rematch. Don't want to see it. As Rob says, I think he's had his time now. He might get knocked out next. Joe Burns has thrown in 199. Nottingham Saturday, lads. We'll never forget, says Joe Burns. Porky impersonator extraordinaire is Joe, meeting up next weekend in I think it's either the 10th. Is it the 3rd or the 10th? Ricky Graville at MTK in Force. I can probably keep me right on that one. Anyway, Joe Burns, who's in the Patreon and in the WhatsApp Nutters group as well, has thrown in a couple of quid, so shout out to him. Anything from the undercard in Bournemouth, Andy? I skipped through that Arting stall fight. Wasn't really that fussed on it, to be honest. No, nothing. Ozzy, what about you? I thought Cutler against Stannard was decent enough. Didn't watch McKinson. Pigford against Eggington. Thought Pigford might have enough, but as you said before, he's not the greatest in the world. He's kind of been exposed now.
Yeah, I only saw Eggington against the Pig, to be honest. We did touch on it last week, and I said, like, Pigford for, this big glamorous record of pre-fight, which was 20-0 and 19 knockouts. He was only like 2 or 3-0, with legit wins, because he just banged out people who basically he should be banging out. he made Sam Eggington look fucking unbelievable last night, and for all like Eggington, legit guy, has done really well for his career, but he's over the hill now, and Eggington just completely outboxed him, and he didn't really do anything special as such. He just it really did look like just an experienced pro against a novice, and Pigford, for all his, like I said, for all of his power, Eggington just didn't allow him to set up a shot. Pigford did land a couple of shots, but nothing meaningful. And I think, Pigford was probably a bit overawed by everything. He has boxed on big cards. He was with Warren for a while, and Warren, had him on, like decent shows, but again, not in any real major fights. And I think the situation was just too much for him, really. And will we see him again now? He's always been really weird with his consistency in and out the ring. And is he there? Is he not? And then he goes missing for 12 months and then he's back. As for Sam Eggington, I thought he was done and dusted after he was beaten by Dennis Hogan, but he's come back. He had a quick win on I think it was a Black Flash show or something like that, a little small old show in Birmingham. And again, he was kind of probably brought in as a bit of an opponent, if anything, really. And I think, Pigford was there, basically to win. And, Eggington's got an opportunity now. And, for all what he is now, and he may well, he's only 29 and fucking hell, we're saying he's over the hill. But at 29, he's had, more than 40 fights as a pro. But he does have a name. He does bring excitement. And, he's still got an opportunity there. And, there's fights there. I think a good fight, for me personally, be, maybe Eggington against, like JJ Metcalf, something like that. I think that'd be a good fight. I think Eggington against Josh Kelly. I think, I don't think Kelly's great, and Eggington, for his rough and ready style could maybe a bit upset's the wrong word, but, rough up Kelly and he doesn't like it. The Troy Williamson fight is potentially there for Eggington as well. I'd like to see maybe Eggington, against like a Hamza Shiraz or something like that. That could be a fight that's available. So there's loads of opportunities for Eggington now. But yeah, overall, aside from that, I didn't see the Cutler Stannard fight. I've just seen the card and it looked close. Can't comment to see if that's fair. And the rest
Cutler
of it
actually done a little bit better, to be honest, from what I saw.
Oh yeah, I have no idea, but I'm all for fights like that being on these sort of cards. Great opportunity for both fighters. I don't even think there was a belt on the line, or if it was even an Olympic. I just think it was a standard 10 rounder, but for two prospects, and you'll see both again, and quite right as well. As for the rest of the card, it was, well, to put it bluntly, shit, really. Not good enough. They lost a big fight with Lowell Chamberlain dropping off. Why didn't Isaac Chamberlain box? I thought he weighed in. He weighed in, didn't he?
He did. He released a statement, mate. I'll see if I can find it, but
I've just realised
it was pulled at the last second. Give me a minute. I'll see if I can find it.
Fuck me.
He said he was doing it in boycott of the gay agenda. There's nothing we need to talk about.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I tell you.
He's had some bad luck, though, hasn't he, Chamberlain, really? With
I mean, it was a shame to lose that Lowell fight, because it just padded it out that bit more and was probably, acceptable as such. But, for the positive start that Boxer had, in all honesty, it's been a bit of a shit show for him, really, and they're not having a good time with it. And I understand, fighters do get beat, but they're having a mare at the moment. Buatsi's looked terrible. Okolie's just been banged out and lost. Eubank Jr. got knocked out by Billam-Smith. They ain't really got much going for him at the moment. And, like Rob said, Ben Shalom had this, fantastic head of hair, and that's, fastly wilting away, under the stress that he's got. Benjamin needs to bounce back. Otherwise, it could be curtains, and it might open the door for Fat Mick to maybe get some Sky dates. But bring back Mick.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say the same thing, Andy, actually. Mick couldn't do any worse.
Mate, Mick knew how to put on 50-50 fights, and sometimes the house fighter wasn't always guaranteed to win. I just found Isaac Chamberlain's statement here. So, through no fault of my own, my fight tonight in Bournemouth was unable to take place. Firstly, I trained hard for the Michael Lowell fight, only for Lowell to pull out. I was happy to be kept on the card, and so I continued my preparations. I was even asked to make championship weight, which I did. just in case one of the main event fighters pulled out and I could fill in to save the show. But despite that, my fight still got pulled from the card. I've been the utmost professional throughout every second of this farce. I turned up to every media event, conducted all my interviews, and played my part to inject excitement into this event. I apologise to the fans and everyone who has supported me that I couldn't deliver you a fight, but I will continue to remain positive and be professional, and will repay you a big performance soon, Isaac Chamberlain. So not really any detail as to why his fight was pulled, but it's a shame.
It seems like it was taken out of his hands, really.
Yeah,
he's kind of just pulled the fight, which if that's the case, that is a joke, And like I hope he got paid because like I said, he fucking weighed in. It's way out of line if that has been pulled away. It's way out of line, and hopefully they look after him because this is why people are happy to walk away from it. For shit like this. The Terry Harper thing last week was unfortunate. But fair play to her. He got Harper out on the following show the week after and she boxed. Whereas Chamberlain, I bet you we don't see him now for months.
When's the next Sky show?
Away. Yeah, they'll try and reschedule, this Lowell fight. Something will go wrong. And it's this guy who gets affected. And just the last point for me, we speak about Mick Hennessy and, we like to have a joke and stuff about, Big Mick. But actually, for the last couple of years, on the shows that he had on the limited dates with Channel 5, how many Fight of the Year contenders did he actually have on those shows? I think he had 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Dylan Magani fight, remember?
Yeah.
Eggington against the fella.
Yeah, and do you know what? And he had those dates pulled from him in favour of fucking Wasserman and Calla Sauerland. And they have served up absolute shite week in, week out.